course, the big story is one you've not heard yet because the vermin in the newspaper business have buried it. Up in Sacramento, California, a little 13-year-old boy named Cody rides to school with an American flag on the back of his bicycle. He says he did it to be patriotic and to honor veterans such as his own grandfather, Robert, who fought in Vietnam. He had the flag on his bicycle for 2 months, but Monday, so-called school officials told him to take the flag down. They said some students had been complaining about the flag, and therefore the American flag was no longer allowed on the property. School was afraid that there'd be racial tensions or uprising because of the American flag. So apparently the Mexican illegal aliens don't like the American flag. And so they made the boy take the flag off his bicycle. I'm sure he would be allowed to fly the rainbow flag, the Mexican flag, a Che Guevara flag or T-shirt, a Mao Zedong murder flag or murder T-shirt. But apparently the American flag is not permitted. It's not part of the diversity in the American school system today. Now, you haven't read that story because the vermin in the media actually agree with him. The very same vermin in the media who said it's okay for hippies to burn the American flag say it's not okay for a 13-year-old boy to ride with the American flag on the back of his bicycle. Anything Christian, anything patriotic, anything that stands for America is now verboten in the United States of America in the school system. And here's another story that's got people crazy all over the country, really angry, agitated, outraged. Schoolboy puts an American flag on his bicycle. He goes to school on Veterans Day with a flag waving because his grandfather was a World War II hero. And the vermin principal makes the boy take the American flag off the bike because the school was concerned about Mexicans causing uprisings.
That's disgusting.
A school official at Denair Middle School told the boy, 13-year-old boy, some students have been complaining about the flag, and it was no longer allowed on school property. Now, I asked my producer to contact the family.
Yeah, we spoke briefly to the grandfather, who is a really nice guy.
Oh, good. Very, very good. Well, apparently the school has reversed itself now, hasn't it? Officials later backtrack, allow boy to fly flag on bike.
Yeah, once the pressure was turned on. That wasn't their first instinct, though.
13-year-old Cody Alicia rides with an American flag on the back of his bike. He says he does this to be patriotic and to honor veterans like his own grandfather, Robert, who was a Vietnam vet. The school was concerned about racial tensions or uprising because of the American flag. Isn't that nice?
Beautiful.
After being contacted by Fox 40 Friday morning, Denair's superintendent, whoever that is, says that the boy will be allowed to keep the flag on his bike. He said that the school is patriotic, but their main priority is keeping students safe. He said the school will focus on the students who are causing uprisings. Really? They're going to crack down on the Mexicans, the illegal aliens, who are threatening us for a boy flying around with an American flag?
Yeah, how many Mexican flags are carried around on bicycles at that same school?
It's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. Here's a government attacking the citizens themselves, attacking people who are proud of American values, and supporting illegal aliens who should be kicked out, as far as I am concerned.
It's like you were talking about yesterday. The body is attacking itself. The defense cells are, I mean, it's a cancer. It's a cancer.
Right, and I'm sure they're allowed to fly Mao flags, Mao T-shirts, Che Guevara shirts and T-shirts. I'm sure they're allowed to fly the rainbow homosexual flag, are they not, Beowulf?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised.
On the back of their bicycle?
Yeah, what would the reaction to that be if they took that flag away from someone?
Yeah. How about an Mexican flag? Can they fly that as well?
Good question.
Well, apparently this has been reversed. But all I can say is what's happened to this country is beyond comprehension, and it's coming out of the schools. The traitorous scum who run the schools should be fired. They're trying to destroy our country by corrupting our children with their socialist beliefs. The flag. My God. instead of going after the Mexicans who they were afraid of. So they have to teach the kids to be diverse and tolerant, huh? Respect Muslim traditions. Make kids dance like tribes in Africa, but they can't even fly their own flag. How do you like that?
Crazy.
Look, it's time for Cody and the rest of us to understand what's happened to this country. End of the story is, why worry about the kid who's flying his flag? Why didn't the Mexicans be told that if they went near the flag or the boy, they'd be thrown out of the country with their parents? How about that? Would that have?
I mean, if someone is threatening this kid, why not focus on the people that are threatening him? For God's sake.
Mm-hmm. Here's the evilness of the socialists in action. A young boy puts a U.S. flag on his bicycle, and the school makes him take it down.
The red, white, and blue have been at the back of Cody's bike for almost 2 months now, but Monday he was forced to take it down. Turns out the flag is not welcome at his middle school. A school official told Cody that some kids were complaining about the flag on his bike, and they asked him to take it off before he comes onto school grounds.
Why did they take his flag, though?
The red, white, and blue have been at the back of Cody's bike for almost 2 months now, but Monday he was forced to take it down. Turns out the flag is not welcome at his middle school. A school official told Cody that some kids were complaining about the flag on his bike, and they asked him to take it off before he comes onto school grounds.
They say racial tensions? You mean from illegal aliens from Mexico who threatened him? This is unbelievable. A real patriotic child, and he is targeted, not the Mexican illegals who threatened him? These school officials should be sued. I have another story here in the Savage Nation. This came out of a newspaper over in England, an obscure newspaper named The Guardian. And it's the new George Bush book. And it says the right word, Limbaugh's Lovin' with Bush. It says George W. Bush found a receptive audience touting his memoirs around the TV and radio studios. Only Michael Savage objected. And then they go to Sean Hannity and they say, you could feel the love between talk show host and the former president. Then they go from him down to the golfer. And it says the love fest continued on the Rush Limbaugh show. And, of course, Rush loved him as well. And they go down the list to Michael Savage. And last stop was the Savage Nation, a daily radio show hosted by shock jock Michael Savage. Shock jock? I'll give you shock jock. I'll give you shock jock. All right, but that's English. That's the English for you today. A self-styled conservative nationalist. Now, what is a self-styled conservative nationalist? What does self-styled mean? Who sums up his political philosophy in 3 words, borders, language, and culture. Then she says, yes, that's 4 word, but who's counting? Well, lady, it should have been 4 words if you want to get picayune. You missed your S. It says President Bush did not make a personal appearance on the show, which might account for the following segment from the Savage show. And here's what I said. Wasn't old G.W. Bush president? The newly popular, newly invented George W. Bush, who wallbanger, that's Savage speak for Sean Hannity. I don't understand how you people don't see through this. That Russian wallbanger are frontmen for the Republican Party. I don't know how many times I have to tell you. I am the Tea Party of radio. I am the Tea Party of radio. They are mouthpieces, water carriers for the Republican Party. And Bush was a fiscal socialist. What are they reinventing the guy for? Bush built up the government bigger than the 4 administrations prior to his. Now all of a sudden he's the wonderful senior president from the past. He's sort of a Republican Jimmy Carter, babbling around signing books. I understand he has to sign his books with a mirror next to his pen, the way he spoke for so many years. He spoke fiscal conservatism and he gave us fiscal socialism. Then she writes, this savage outburst floored me. President Bush, a socialist? A Republican Jimmy Carter? Could Savage be hinting in his delicate way that former President Bush expanded government more than any other president? That he turned the budget surplus into a $1 trillion deficit? That he dragged the nation into a quagmire from which we're still struggling to emerge 2 years later? If that's what Savage is suggesting, then Savage and I have found some common ground. Well, up to a point, she says. I have to take issue with the socialism charge, she writes. I mean, if former President Bush was a socialist, then where does that leave our current president, Obama? I feel like putting the DUH after that. Yes, President Bush was a socialist. Where does that leave our current President Obama? Read Trickle Up Poverty, lady. I lay it out in the book. He's a pan-Leninist. So I know we can't talk about it because the things are bad. Everyone's supposed to make believe they're broke. That's the newest thing. I love it. Everyone in the media who's worth millions and millions of dollars, suddenly they're appearing in ripped undershirts on book covers. Oh, I'm no money. I'm nothing. I'm just like you. Oh, I'm just like you. Just a loser like you. Yeah, my mother was a drunk. Come on.